Hi, and welcome. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Melissa Ferguson, and I will be your professor this semester. This is a picture of my family in my home celebrating New Year's Eve this past December. My daughter Carrie is now at Santa Clara University. She is almost 19. She plays softball at Santa Clara, and their softball season will be starting just as our semester is starting. This is my son Tyler. He is now 14 and he played football. He was a freshman in high school this past year. And this is my daughter Camille. She is in 7th grade. This is a picture of her in Colorado with this beautiful rainbow behind her. She also plays softball and is in Girl Scouts, very active in Girl Scouts. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Melissa Ferguson. I have a PhD. I am happy for you to call me Melissa, but if you're not comfortable with that, you may call me Dr. Ferguson or Ms. Ferguson. That was a picture of me when I was married. I don't know why this is doing some auto setting that I cannot seem to change. These are my 3 children, which I talked about in the previous page, but I like this picture because it kind of shows their personalities. So when I started off my educational career, I thought I wanted to be a clinical psychologist. I was attending San Diego State, and I did all the things I needed to do to go to graduate school right out of college. I got involved, I got good grades, I joined honor societies, I did research. I did some developmental psychology research, and I enjoyed it, but while I was in about my 3rd year, I took an experimental methods class and really fell in love with research. I knew that developmental research was a little too subjective for me. It wasn't the type of research I wanted to do. So I went on and stayed at San Diego State and did a master's in psychology. So while I was there, I did physiological psychology research, and I had thought I would never do animal research. I'm an animal lover, and I ended up doing animal research. I worked with an animal model of Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, and I loved it. I enjoyed looking at the brain. I enjoyed slicing the brains. I enjoyed staining the tissues, looking under the microscope for different types of cells. Really enjoyed it. And so I fell in love with that type of research, and I ended up stepping a little away from psychology and doing a PhD in neuroscience. So we'll talk a little bit about the difference between neuroscience and behavioral neuroscience, where behavioral neuroscience adds a little bit more of that psychology in. I was doing more of the kind of the nitty-gritty backbone stuff. But my research at USC was still on aging. Like Wernicke-Korsakoff is a disease of aging alcoholics. And so my area of research was still aging and plasticity in the brain. We knew that the plasticity response decreases as we get older, and so we wanted to just kind of try to see why and what we could do to maybe put that off. And so my research was on the fringe related to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, stroke, all those kinds of things. So from there, I ended up doing a postdoc in biochemistry. I was supposed to go into that lab and take what I knew about the brain and use it with their biochemical assays. Unfortunately, those didn't work too well. I stayed at USC because I was married and we didn't really want to move out of the LA Orange County area. So again, I was doing aging research. I was working with a professor who was very well known in the field looking at oxidative stress. I actually did some Drosophila research in fruit flies, and that was really interesting. Got several publications out of my postdoc. But I had my first child, Carrie, while I was there. Just decided that I wanted to get back more into psychology. So I looked for teaching positions. I didn't teach while I was doing my master's or my PhD. So I didn't have that experience, and I wanted to kind of try it out and see if I liked it. So I applied to a variety of places. I got hired first at Cerritos. I was there for 12 years teaching part-time. Great gig while I was raising my kids. Allowed me to work, keep using my degrees, keep my brain active, and then, but also spend time with them while I was raising them. I also worked at Long Beach City College, Golden West, and then I worked here at OCC 1 year part-time before I was hired as a tenure track assistant professor. And so I earned tenure last year, and I went through the whole tenure process kind of during COVID and transitional times, but I'm here. I love OCC. I love the students. I love the staff. I love the faculty. It's a great place to be, and I'm excited to be your professor for this semester. So just to finish us off, I do have an Instagram page. I'm trying to be a little bit more active, sharing things that I think are interesting, whether mostly on psychobiology, but some research and other types of things related to psychology. And then I also have my YouTube channel where all of my lecture videos for this class are housed there. I'm also transitioning a lot of them to Panopta, but you can also find them on my YouTube channel. So please follow me on those two accounts. And thank you for listening.